Howdy bros, it's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Boah here, back for another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Anita Sarkeesian. Now Anita is a self-proclaimed feminist, however I thought there was a bit of a difference between being a feminist and this.
Pause! What is that?
So I decided to edit the Twitter bio a bit. Now on the surface, Anita may look like your ordinary game critic, however I don't think she even plays games.
But by criticizing these, you say, would you call them male fantasy games or male fantasy objectification of women games?
Some of them, that would be an
some of them?
accurate title, yeah.
Give me some names. Name some names.
So in the work that I do, I look at hundreds of examples of video games,
So
and
can you think of three? Can you think of three?
I can, but I think it's a bigger issue to talk about the industry as a whole and how it perpetuates these ideas of sexism and misogyny, as opposed to just Grand Theft Auto, for example.
Now this is what past Spider-Boah would call Josiah Trelawney syndrome. Now as I was watching this video, I sort of realized that he had what I like to call Josiah Trelawney syndrome, and to explain that you're gonna have to watch this clip.
No. When me and Javier went down with Trelawney to get Sean, after the bar fight, I swear, he talked the whole way and never actually said a damn thing.
I thought you knew. That's his special talent.
It's basically just con man talk. Yeah, I know for a fact I wasn't the only one that watched her struggle for a bit.
So can you think of three? Can you think of three?
I can, but
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Ooga booga. Now some people may be asking, Spider-Boah, how experienced is this gaming critic with gaming? And not very would be my answer.
Video games are so interesting and engaging and interactive. I'm a gamer and I enjoy games. I love games. I'm a fan of games.
How do you feel about video games? I still love them. I think games are really where we're going.
I'm going to show you a remix that I just finished this weekend and no one else has seen. One person has seen it. It's a soundtrack of one song, except I'm doing video games. So it's not exactly a fandom. I'm not a fan of video games. I actually had to learn a lot about video games in the process of making this. I'm not a fan of video games.
This is so sad. Cue the bruh sound effect.
Bruh.
Now that her love for gaming is established, let's take a look at what she criticizes on her YouTube channel.
As a trope, the damsel in distress is a plot device in which a female character is placed in a perilous situation from which she cannot escape on her own and must be rescued by a male character, usually providing the core incentive or motivation for the protagonist's quest. In the Middle Ages, the damsel in distress was a common feature in many medieval songs, legends, and fairy tales. The saving of a defenseless woman was often portrayed as the raison d'être, or reason for existence, in romance tales and poems of the era, involving a knight-errant, the wandering knight adventuring to prove his chivalry, prowess, and virtue. At the turn of the 20th century, victimized young women became the cliché of choice for the nascent American film industry, as it provided an easy and sensational plot device for the silver screen. A famous early example is the 1913 Keystone Cops short Barney Oldfield's Race for a Life, which features the now iconic scene of a woman being tied to the railroad tracks by an evil, mustache-twirling villain.
Now I don't know if Anita knows this, but the whole damsel in distress storyline sort of branches out from melodrama, which is a style of play that was invented, back in the day, and it was invented because men would have a little too much liquid courage and then want to spend some quality time with the wife, hands down. So in turn, melodrama was created to show that if you have, good morals and you're very noble and you're very hard working, you can get the princess. It's stupid, but what else were they gonna fucking do? They couldn't put an ad on TV. The 18th century was a prehistoric time.
However, for all the apparent variety and diversity in the heroes Blizzard showed off at the game's debut, there wasn't much diversity to be seen in the body types represented by the female heroes. The male characters introduced that day included the towering knight Reinhardt, the sturdy engineer Torbjorn, the agile archer Hanzo, and the hulking simian scientist Winston, among others. The 5 female characters introduced consisted of the slender adventurer Tracer, the slender healer Mercy, the slender support character Symmetra, the slender sniper Widowmaker, and the slender but well-armored security chief Farah.
I mean, you could look at it that way, but you could also look at the moveset. Why would these specific characters need to be big, buff, and or fat? Looking at the female heroes presented here, most of them need to be quick and agile to get to and from where they need to go. I mean, would an overweight medic make much sense in this game? Not only do the medics need to zip around really quickly, but they also, you know, are a standard for health. But anyway, let's see what my good friend Pablo thinks about all of this.
Yo lo primero que entraba a donde me colocaba pedía el día de descanso ya. Y me dice algo, yo, ha entrado usted y ya está pidiendo el día de descanso. ¿Sí? O tú vas a estar aquí de pinche, pero como va a ser el primer día, mira, vamos a fregar todo lo que hay aquí, ¿eh? Y ya mañana hablaremos. Tú sabes que cuando coges un restaurante nuevo, todo limpieza, para mañana inaugurarlo.
Claro.
Thanks, Pablo. Very cool. I wish everyone could take this as good as Pablo. So that does bring us to the end of today's video. Thank you bros so much for watching, and of course, see you in the next one. I love you 3000 bros.
It's all like magic to me, you do magic baby when you love me, you're so lovely.